An important downtrend in the market happened not long ago, which caused a lot of fear. And yes, this kind of fear does happen every time the market goes down sharply. It's okay to call it a crash, an adjustment, a pullback, or anything else. It was basically a small slowdown. It wasn't really crazy. It did make old coins drop on the chart by about 10 to 15 or even 20%. A lot of people did respond too much to it. Many people were not sure what to do. And when you look at the market today, you can still see that rebound. Several of these old coins are worth more than 10% or 20% more than they were. Right now, the big ones are HBR and SUI. Both of them are up U by 10% and 7.3%. XLM and XRP, though XRP isn't really up that much. In fact, I believe XRP is still down a little. Yes, XRP is going down or is actually at 0%. At this point, it's still even. XLM is only up 2.8%, which isn't too exciting, but HBR and SUI are definitely on the rise again, along with some other old coins. We're still pretty red on the hourly chart, nothing too crazy there, but we're all green for the week, the month, the year, and even the day. That's because we've been seeing a lot of great progress. Now, a lot of people want to know why we had such a big sell-off. I guess I should say that we did change the mood. More than that, we got rid of a lot of late longs because once more, a lot of people start to long the market too late. When there is a lot of excitement and greed in the market, they'll buy it. This causes liquidations, which sends the market into a tailspin. Most of this was caused by the $950 million in liquidations, which had an effect on 310,000 trades. It seems like a lot of this was aimed at Ethereum and XRP as well, which is why we kept an eye on XRP during the week. In fact, it's down 9.2%. I really think that we will get back on track with XRP. However, Ethereum is what I'm really interested in here. This is because Ethereum has gone up more than 50% in the last month, while Bitcoin has only gone up 8.8%. There has been a very big improvement. Okay, now Ethereum is starting to do much better than Bitcoin. I did say in the live stream earlier today that we are pretty much confirming phase 2. The second phase has begun, and Ethereum is taking the lead. We'll talk more about this in a moment, but I'd like to talk about the market itself. Let me clear everything out so we can see that the crypto market cap is now green. HBR could go up by more than 10%. Again, HBR is very strong off of the lows, so this is the coin that's moving the most. Also, old coin season is back to 40 plus, which we love to see. We'll talk more about HBAR in a bit. I did talk about this in the live stream earlier today, and I'm going to quickly show you this because I do want to talk about it. So I'm going to talk about the amount over the next 30 days, 7 days, and 24 hours. It's also important for me to get the market cap here since I just want to compare a few things. Let's talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum. To sum up Bitcoin and Ethereum, Bitcoin has a market cap of $2.3 trillion, while Ethereum's is $450 billion. Because of the number, this is important to remember. So we can see that Ethereum has almost 40 billion in volume in the last 24 hours, while Bitcoin has 97 billion. It's not really that close. It's pretty much the same on the 7th day too, with $290 billion compared to $665 billion or almost $666 billion. Then on the 30th day, we see 1.5 trillion instead of 2.1 trillion. In terms of demand, this shows that Ethereum is beginning to catch up to Bitcoin. Actually, I said the same thing during the live stream. The second part of the cycle is when Ethereum really starts to do better than Bitcoin. Like I said, I've been watching and I have only been comparing Bitcoin and Ethereum over shorter periods of time, like 7 days or even a month. We could also see that in terms of a month, SUE is still just trying to break through that barrier. This is what a year looks like. So we're still at that support level in the longer term. Then we need a big break above these levels to be sure that the breakout happened and for the price to rise again to the highs set in 2024. In other news, XLM is showing some strength today, though it's only up almost 3%. This is how it has looked over the past month. This is what a year looks like. Again, we're up against support on a higher time frame that goes back to January. It will take us a while to get to those 2024 highs of about 63.5 cents XRP for a month. Not too crazy. It looks like we'll still hit that amount of resistance around $3.40. That's something we need to really break up over. This is great news for XRP. We are seeing support around the previous highs. Indeed, this is what we need to see on these charts. We want to see strength against the highs that were hit before. In other words, we want to really set a floor before we get that big push back up to go after those support levels in the longer term. Because once more, the more help we have at the floor form tier, the more likely it is that we can hold on to it if we fail to break through the higher time frame resistance. Aside from that, though, let's talk more about what's going on with cash. That's why Ethereum is number one. Going back to the beginning of July, I said that the short squeeze would be the worst in history and that old coins would also go through a complete parabolic curve. This is because Ethereum was the only crypto that didn't have much value at that point. The number of short Ethereum futures positions that have been opened is one of the biggest ever. This is in Ethereum's past. We already knew that Ethereum would go up, but guess what? There is still some doubt about this. There are still a lot of short positions against Ethereum. If Ethereum breaks through around 4K, which is where most of those leveraged trades are located, in terms of those short positions, Ethereum could quickly teleport to 5K or higher, which would be a new all-time high and be price discovery. We also think about the flow of money around the world, especially the M2 stocks. When we think about that, this comes from Ted Pillows. The US M2 stock is back above $22 trillion once more. Even though the M2 supply in Japan, China, and the EU is at all-time highs, Ethereum is still 26% below its all-time high from 2021. You're not ready for the rise in ETH. In addition, I don't believe that people are ready for the ETH rise. When we look at how things are set up here, right? The world system is being flooded with liquidity. We've already seen that the Fed is also adding money to the system. That's the reason stocks keep going up to new highs. It will only be a matter of time before Ethereum's value really starts to rise. Also, I said we were in step 2, right? At this point, we know we're in phase 2 because Ethereum ETFs are doing better than Bitcoin ETFs. Not sure about this. It's fine. It's not necessary. This is where the facts are. Recent investments into Ethereum ETFs have been through the roof. In fact, they have flipped Bitcoin, which means we are now in phase 2. There's no doubt that this will be talked about by major media at some point. Now that we've thought about it, let's look at my post again, okay? I said that old coins will also go through a complete parabolic curve. It's because they use Ethereum. They are the next person in line. Small amounts of money from Ethereum will start to flow into big caps. Also, think about this. ETFs for altcoins that haven't gone live yet are still on our list. That's what will make altcoins really take off next. Okay, but also in terms of Ethereum, the Ethereum supply squeeze is 32 to 1. Since May, 32 times more people have wanted Ethereum ETFs than have been able to get them. Still, if this does happen, I don't even know what to think about Ethereum. This could be the most positive situation in the history of Ethereum. However, those shorts are still in place, and the market is now beginning to die. Ethereum is about to break through macro resistance, which could send it quickly to $5,000 or more, setting a new all-time high in prices. At the same time, a lot of cash is coming into the system. I don't think things have ever been this positive. That's why I keep telling everyone that it's not just about what we see in price movement every day. See what's going on behind the prices, what is really going on. I talked about this even before July, right? I told you that July would be a big month for crypto. How did we know that July would be a big month for crypto? Was it just a guess? Not at all. We were looking at the M2 supply. We already knew in May that the M2 stock had grown a lot. In May, Bitcoin hit a new all-time high. Then we make it stronger in June. From the beginning of June to the end, everything was pretty dull. Someone was going to break out, and we knew it. Now, in April, I said that old coins would go crazy in July. I said that in April because of the period on the Bitcoin dominance chart. In other words, from April to the end of June, the whole period running up to July was already very bullish, and April was the month when we hit rock bottom. Now that we look at what's going on, the structure is still very strong moving into August. I think that we're going to see a parabolic rise across the board, and this comeback will be the start of that. We might consolidate for a little while longer, maybe a week or two. Let's keep an eye on things as the hourly, daily, weekly, and monthly rates all turn green. This coming week is FOMC week, which means things could get very exciting very quickly. Many of these old coins have already shown a lot of strength since their low points. They should be at the top of the list of old coins to keep an eye on during the next big break. But I think we're closer than ever to old season, and now we're in the second part. At this point, I think it's safe to say that we are in phase 2 since Ethereum has gained more than 50% against Bitcoin in the past month, or Ethereum ETFs are now doing better than Bitcoin ETFs, which is a very good sign. These blinking lights are like a big sign that will tell us, hint, Ethereum demand is rising faster than Bitcoin demand right now. And wait until this gets picked up by the big news outlets. People will read about this all over the news, I think, next week, right? Following week, there will be a lot of talk about Ethereum. For this reason, a lot of people will buy Ethereum. This will quickly lead to old coins, and then we'll have our old season. The way things are now with crypto makes me very excited about what's to come. I don't think many people are ready for what's going to happen. Keep your eyes on what's really going on behind the price action right now. Don't just worry about pullbacks, crashes, or other similar events. We need to lock in and only think about